All right, then we're going to talk about a special type of sequence called arithmetic sequence. Arithmetic sequence, not arithmetic. All right, arithmetic sequence is when you start with a fixed number, we're going to call it A, and you add to it a fixed number, we're going to call it D, over and over again. So you're really adding the same thing all the way through the sequence, or technically subtracting the same thing. So it looks like this: A plus D, A plus 2D. Remember, D is the difference. D is what they're adding. A plus 3D. A is the first term. A plus 4D. You need to write this down. This is the way you find any term of any arithmetic sequence. A means we're going to find that's either the last term or the term you're looking for, the nth term. A is the first term, remember. A lot of books will write it this way. They'll put A1 to remind you it's the first term. N is how many terms there are, the same N as that N, and then times D, which is the difference. And the difference is the same between all the terms. Let me show you one here. It says find the first 6 terms of 13, 7, ... and the 300 term of the arithmetic sequence. Now they're telling you it's arithmetic, which means they're obviously decreasing by 6. So it's going to be 1, -5, -11. There's the first 5 terms. Let's go one more. -17. Just decreasing by 6. Now, to find the 300th term, we're actually going to use that formula we had on that last slide and say it's the first term plus n minus 1. N is 300, so I'm going to do 299 times D. D this time is -6. So basically, we're going to punch all that in our calculator right there, and we're going to get the 300 term is -1781. Now, that's if you kept subtracting 6 300 times from 13. The 300 term would be -1781. All right, now going a little bit back, we're just saying the 11th term is 52, and the 19th term is 92. Find the 1,000th term. Okay, so what we're going to do here is we're going to set up both cases. So what I know is the 11th term is 52. Now, I'm doing the same formula I just did. 52 is the 11th term. That's the first term, which I don't know, plus n minus 1. I don't know n either. Yeah, I do. N is 11. Sorry about that. N minus 1 would be 10 times D. So that's my first one. Now, this one, the 19th term is 92. So 92 is the 19th term. That'd be the first term plus, because it's the 19th term, it'd be 18 times D. Now what that gives me right here is a system of equations, which I'm going to solve really quick. I'm just going to subtract those two equations together. Boom, boom, boom. That's gone. It gives me -8D over here, and here gives me -40, which means D is 5. That's an important thing. That means I know what D is now, which is the difference in the terms. And if I know D, I can plug it back in one of these right there. It gives me 52 is A1 plus 10 times D, which is 50. So the first term is 2. So now I know everything. I know what the first term is. I know what D is. So now I can find the 1,000th term very easily just doing our favorite formula. First term plus n minus 1, which is 999 because n is 1,000, times D, which is 2. Just punch that in real quick, and you get 4997 for the 1,000th term. Okay, so I had to do a little solving a system there using elimination, but not that big a deal. All right, partial sums. You can also add the sums of an arithmetic sequence. 2 great ways to do it. And I'm going to explain to you in class tomorrow where all this came from, these formulas did. It's easier for me to show you and give you the visual of it instead of just putting on a video. So there's basically 2 ways you can find the sum in arithmetic. This is one. Make sure you get both of these down. There's a couple occasions that's pretty good. To be honest, we're going to use this one the most, that second one. And also most books only cover the second one. I do like this though. That's a good way to go, but that's for, you'll see in a second when it's going to be a good time to do it. Okay, it says find the sum of the first 40 of this sequence. Okay, so I'm going to say sum of the first 40 is, I'm using the second formula this time. I'm going 40 over 2. Times 3 plus, now what I don't know here is what the last term is, what the 40th term is. And because I don't know it, I'm going to come over to the side and say, what's the 40th term? Well, the 40th term is the first term plus n minus 1, which is 39, times D. And you can tell D right there by looking is 4. So, sorry about all that. So I'm just going to work that out. 3 plus, let's see, 39 times 4 would be 156 plus there's 159. And I was going to take that 159 and plug it right in there. Okay, so I get this. I get 20 times 162 Plug all that in, see what you get. 20 times 162 is 3240. Now, that's one way. Let me show the other formula real quick just so you'll have exposure to both. I could have also said, okay, the sum of the first 40 is 40 over 2. Starts the same way, but you do this. You do 2 times the first term plus n minus 1, which is 39, times d, which is 4. I'm just going to work all that out. And outside I get 20. Inside I've got that 6. And that's that was 156 a second ago. So that's 162. And if you do, then look what you got. Same exact thing. So what this other formula does, or the first formula, if you don't know something, it kind of gives you a good way to go if you don't know everything that you need to find the sum. Okay, let me show you a couple more. Find the sum of the first 50 odd numbers. Okay, so the first 50 odd. So what I know is I'm adding 50 terms. I'm doing 50 over 2. The first odd number is 1. The question is, what's the 50th? You know, I don't know why that keeps moving. I'm sorry about that, guys. So to find the 50th, I'm going to do what I did a second ago. I'm going to do, okay, what's the 50th odd number? First of all, the odd numbers go like this. Remember, 1, 3, 5, 7. So the first term is 1. I'm going to do n minus 1, which is 49, times d. The difference is 2. That's going to give me 99. And 99 is not the answer, but it tells me what to put up there in my formula. 99. So that gives me 25 out here, 100 in there, and I bet you that's 2,500, just guessing there. 2,500 if you add up the first 50 odd numbers. One more example here. Okay, how many terms of the arithmetic sequence 5, 7, 9, blah, blah, must be added to get 572? Okay, so basically asking how many terms, which means you don't know what n is, you're looking for n. So I'm going to use that first formula, and I'm going to say, okay, the sum is 572, so I'm going to say 572 equals n over 2, and I don't know what n is, so that's just what it is. 2 times the first term plus n minus 1 times d. And again, I don't know n minus 1, but I do know d is 2. Okay, whenever I see one of these, I'm going to go, well, I'm going to go this way. I'm going to distribute I'm going to multiply this whole thing. Let's just distribute n over 2. If I distribute n over 2 by this first term, the 2's would cancel. It'll give me 5n. If I do the second term, the 2's would cancel. It'll give me n squared minus n. Okay, all I did was distribute right there. So because I have a squared in there, I'm going to move everything over, try to factor. 5n minus 1 and this 4n, move to 572. Now, of course, this is no big deal. You're just looking for factors of 572. They give you positive 4. I'm being a little sarcastic there, but just take your calculator, try some numbers that differ by 4. That will give you 572. And I'll be honest, I pre-planned this one. I get 26 and 22. So my two ends would be negative 26 and positive 22. Now, think about this. Only one of those answers make any sense. How many terms must be added to get 572? You cannot add negative terms. That's out. It takes 22. You'd have to add the first 22 terms of that sequence right there to get 572. All right, so make sure there's 3 formulas in today's lesson. That AN equals A1 plus N minus 1 times D. That's one. Make sure you got that down. There are 2 sum formulas. SN equals N over 2 times A1 plus AN. And the third one, the sum of N equals N over 2 times 2a plus n minus 1 times d. Okay, so that was a lot of words right there. But make sure you get those formulas down. Work on it in class as usual. See you tomorrow.